BFreeCBD.com joins forces with Championship Wrestling to bring you the all-new Championship Wrestling podcast. And here's your host, Dustin Starr, featuring special guest,
BFree CBD,
founder of BFree CBD, Daryl Bird. Here we go!
Body aches gone, leg pain gone, back pain gone, relaxation.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to episode 39 of the Championship Wrestling Podcast presented by BFree CBD. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes of your Monday afternoon with me. Let's talk some Championship Wrestling. I am Dustin Starr, coming to you from Memphis, Tennessee, the home of Championship Wrestling presented by Pro Shingle. And if you missed Saturday's show, shame on you. Another excellent episode of Championship Wrestling presented by Pro Shingle on Saturday. Plus, it was an absolute blast catching up with all the great fans out at Dave and Buster's last night for our Clash of Champions watch party. We have another fun podcast in store for you today, including our very special guest, who we saw in action on Saturday's show. Danny Limelight Rivera will join me in just a few moments. But first, this podcast is presented by BFreeCBD.com.
I love coming to BFree because, the environment is just so nice to be in. They're very professional. It's just a very good environment to be in. And plus, my mom has a history of back problems and back pains. So, I come and get like bath bombs for when she sits in the tub and like different types of oils and stuff like that. So everybody, please come shop at BFree.
Be sure to follow at BFree CBD on social media. That's the letter B, Free CBD. Go ahead while you're there and follow at CW30 Wrestling. And of course, I'm at Dustin Starr. And today's lineup looks like this. We're going to take a look at what's coming up this week for Championship Wrestling. Plus, we have a lot of fun events on the way, including a new live event that we're going to announce on Saturday's program that's coming to Memphis, Tennessee. Also, I'm going to tell you how you can get the scoop just a little bit early. Stay tuned for that. Plus, we're going to have a full recap and highlights from Saturday's Championship Wrestling presented by Pro Shingle. We have some big developing stories with the Heritage Champion Ray Rosas and SoCal Distancing. Also, Watts and Miguel. Man, that's a crazy one. And of course, Nico Marquez strikes again. We're going to get all into it here in just a bit. But today's guest, he was victorious on Friday's New Japan Pro Wrestling show. And also he was victorious again on our show on Saturday. It's Danny Limelight Rivera. I'm going to talk to him about the new tag team that he's formed with King Fat Boy Papo Esco. Also, I want to talk to him about being on the roster of New Japan Pro Wrestling. And also, man, if that wasn't enough, he debuted on United Wrestling Network's Prime Time Live. The guy is literally everywhere. And we're going to talk about his upcoming projects and so much more. Danny Limelight Rivera is up next.
The all-new Championship Wrestling podcast is presented by BFree CBD.
What's it like working with Booker T?
He's my head trainer. He's the guy who's kind of put, the finishing touches on me when I was starting and then helped polish me, even through today. And he's the guy that really got me prepared to do these TV wrestling shows.
BFreeCBD.com joins forces with Championship Wrestling to help you be and feel your best.
The incredible Danny Limelight Rivera. What's up, man?
Dustin, first of all, nobody has ever called me the incredible Danny Limelight Rivera. You need to call me the Puerto Rican Papi. You need to call me the Boricua Grim Reaper or something like that. This whole incredible whatever. That's Anthony Idol stuff.
Oh, man.
Don't be mixing me up with these other bozos in the locker room, Dustin. You know better than that.
Man, no disrespect at all. I'm not trying to mix anything up. It's just when I see you in the ring and what you do, not only in the ring, but flying out of the ring, It reminds me of like the Incredible Spider-Man or something. You're
He's
all over
never
the place.
ever been called the Incredible Spider-Man, Dustin. It's the Amazing Spider-Man, the Spectacular Spider-Man, Radioactive Spider-Man. Dustin, listen, I'm about to hang up on you, man.
Don't hang up. Watts hung up on me a couple of weeks ago, so you can't hang up on me because the people that are listening to this podcast are going to be very upset with me. So I promise I'll get it right.
All right, let's try this again. Let's go.
All right, you got to tell me all these nicknames. You've got so many of them, brother.
Listen, let's just start with Danny Limelight Rivera. Can you handle that?
Ladies and gentlemen, I have Danny Limelight Rivera right here with me, and I'm excited about it. No matter how much crap he gives me.
I like Maria better than you, Dustin.
Everybody likes Maria better than me.
What's up? What you got for me, Dustin? What you want to talk about? You know, I got a date lined up in about 32 minutes, and we're on our way to Mofongos to get some arroz con habichuelas. You know, a little bit of tostones on the side, some martas, and a glass of wine for the pretty little Colombian lady that I got coming with me. So what you got for me?
Hey now, well, first and foremost, congrats on all the success. In 2019, we started seeing you here on Memphis television on CW30, and you said that it was going to be the year of the spider. But good grief, 2020, you are all over the place everywhere that I look.
Yeah, 2019 was an amazing year for me. It definitely was the year of the spider. There was a lot of things that happened that I think paved the way for 2020. You know, I came into 2020, I had a 2020 vision, and I knew what I wanted to go with my career. I knew where I wanted to take it, and I knew that I had everything I needed to get there. And I think that I definitely have been blessed, you know, to be doing all the things that I've been doing. You know, as you've seen this past week alone, you know, made my debut with Papo Esco, King Fat Boy. You know, we squashed on them little millennial brats. And the day before that, I was on New Japan Crown, taking out Barrett Brown in the first round. So I'm killing it right now. This week, I'm going into the semifinals against Blake Christensen in the New Japan Crown tournament. And, you know, if me and Papa want to go eat something, we're going to go eat whoever they throw at us.
Well, I definitely want to talk about that, because if there's two guys that I don't want to run into, not only in a wrestling ring, but in a dark alley somewhere, it's you and Big Papo Esco, man. Did you guys know each other before you started tagging? Because we saw it kind of unfold on Championship Wrestling presented by Pro Shingle. After one of your matches, came back from the locker room and you see him standing there. What were you thinking? What's the first thing that went through your mind when you saw that?
I was like dumbfounded. First of all, I was like, how did they let him in here? You know, that dude, that's somebody that, you know, Abuela didn't even want him in the house when it was Thanksgiving dinner, let alone letting him into Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. So when I saw him, I thought he was coming to like grab me, yoke me up, tell me I forgot to, you know, upset at me because, you know, I sent him a little Boston Red Sox hat for Christmas one year. He hadn't talked to me since because I know he's a Yankees fan, but whatever. I was just fucking with him, you know, and I think that, you know, I thought he was gonna yoke me up for that, but it turns out that they let him in the building. They let my Tío Papo, my OG, come in here, and honestly, it feels good to have some backup, you know, since my cousin Gino ain't been around lately, you know, and things haven't been going the way I wanted to at Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. I think that having my Tío Papo Esco, the King Fat Boy, in the building, that'll really shake some tail feathers.
Well, I tell you what, it's a guilty pleasure of mine. I love seeing the millennials get beat up. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. They had some big mouths on them, you know. How they were calling King Papo Fat Boy. They were calling him fat and stuff. Are they crazy? Where they allowed to talk crazy like that at, Dustin? Probably where you're from.
No, man. I don't care what his
nickname is. Matter of fact, you look like you could be a millennial.
I don't care what his nickname is or anything. You're never gonna hear me, especially to his face, call him King Fat Boy or anything like that. It's Papo Esco, man. To me,
right? And he's a savage. He's a savage.
So I learned a lot about Danny Limelight when I saw the video that aired on Championship Wrestling. Who is Danny Limelight? And it seems like ever since that aired, and I believe it was March or April, you've been on absolute fire. Tell me about New Japan Pro Wrestling and how that all came about.
Well, I would have to, you know, give a shout out to David Marquez. You know, I like to call him Theo Marquez because that man took me under his wing when I was just a little street rat, you know, looking for a place to wrestle. And he brought me to Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. And that's where I met Rocky Romero at when he won the PP3 tournament in 2015, 2016 timeframe. And I kind of just connected with Rocky because he's another Boricua, you know, and he's somebody who's done it all over the world. You know, he's been in New Japan for, I think, close to 17 years now. He's killed it. He's killed it at Hollywood. He's been a mainstay at the United Wrestling Network for a while. And he's just somebody that he saw something in me. You know, he invited me out to the tryout last fall, and I came out and I did my thing. And I'm just blessed to have gotten the call to say they wanted to use me. You know, I made my debut. I wrestled T.J. Perkins, another man who's done it all in this business. And I kind of just been rocking and rolling with the steam that I got off of that. And I don't have any signs of slowing down.
You mentioned the United Wrestling Network. You premiered last Tuesday. You had your debut on live pay-per-view.
Yes, sir. Primetime live.
Loved it, man. Loved seeing you on there. What are the differences for you in wrestling something that you know is going to air later and wrestling on live pay-per-view? Is there any differences for Danny Limelight?
I think for me, I don't care if I'm wrestling something that's going to be airing later. I don't care if I'm wrestling live on pay-per-view. I don't care if I'm wrestling in front of 2 fat people and a little kid who's picking his nose in the crowd. Danny Limelight gives 100% every time. I don't hold back nothing. I don't save anything for later. I go out there, I give it my all every time. That's why I'm a little disrespected by the fact that these fans are upset because of my new attitude with Papo Esco. Where was these fans at when I'm getting stuff stuck up my nose for COVID just so I could go entertain them? Where were these fans at? You know, why isn't Danny Limelight getting a championship shot? They were nowhere to be heard, but now they're all over Twitter talking about my new little alliance and my new attitude with Papo. Like, nah, man, listen. I have done everything I could to please fans. I've done everything I could to please whoever's watching. But what matters most to me now is pleasing myself and working my ass off on live pay-per-view, pre-taped pay-per-view matches, pre-taped television matches, or whenever the independents decide to come back. I give it my all every time. And anybody who watches Danny Limelight can attest to that.
Talking to Danny Limelight right here, right now. And I want to ask you, because you are a very exciting wrestler. All the real cool stuff that you do, you pop the fans, man. Is there a difference now and a difference in the way that you're having to approach your matches without having those fans present? Now, you do hear them on Twitter. Of course, you hear them chirping all over Twitter. But actually being in the audience, there's not really necessarily a crowd there or any cheers or jeers that you can feed from. Is that different for you?
Yeah, the energy is different in the room. The atmosphere is definitely different. You know, we don't have the people screaming, cheering and booing all at the same time. We don't have that. I don't have that. But I think for me, you know, it allows me to stay focused. And I think that anybody that's been watching can definitely tell that I've been definitely laser focused lately. I feel like I'm hitting hard. I feel like more things are working in my favor as far as in the ring, outside the ring. I don't have to worry about, you know, little Johnny with his missing 2 front teeth in the front row crying if I yank somebody's teeth or their mouth or their ear, if I kick somebody in the chest. I don't have to worry about the little grandma in the back that's like, oh my God, he's beating up that person too bad. Like, I don't have to worry about any of that now. So I think that kind of works in my favor right now. The fans can stay away as long as they want for all I care. But they need to go buy my merchandise at ProWrestlingTees.com/Danny Limelight.
You're not only just doing wrestling too, you're doing commercials and stuff now, right?
Yeah. I'm acting. I'm doing my own stunts. I just finished doing a commercial right now. I can't really say what it was for because the commercial isn't going to be airing for a couple months. But it felt good to be back on a major set for a national commercial. The auditions have been going well. I actually have a big audition coming up for a show that I hope goes well, where I'll be acting and doing my own stunts. I will say that if you like bikes and you like gangsters and you like things like that on your television screen, I'll be auditioning for something like that. You know, I let people listening go in and figure out what that is. But it's been going great. I've been blessed to be, you know, as well as that stuff, you know, writing my own projects, shooting my own projects, producing my own stuff, staying busy. My daughter's staying busy. She's acting. She's having tons of auditions. And we just killing it as a family, you know, me and my little one. So I'm blessed for that. And I think that, you know, there's only bigger and better things coming.
We will be here to watch each and every part of it and help out any way we can. Danny, I appreciate the time, man.
Yeah, Dustin, don't worry about it, man. Be easy, man.
The Championship Wrestling Rewind is brought to you by BFree CBD.
You know, I'll be pretty honest with you. I wasn't quite expecting that attitude from Danny Limelight, but we got through it. Good stuff from him. Speaking of good stuff, check out the highlights from Saturday's Championship Wrestling. Last week on Championship Wrestling, we had another unpredictable hour of pro wrestling featuring a tag team debut, a triumphant return, and an open challenge for the United TV Championship. Plus, Watts made his return, but this happened.
Eric, look out behind you, dude! What are you doing?
And in our Dave and Buster's Match of the Week, women's division action was interrupted once again.
Supposed to be at home, damn it.
I don't get to do whatever I want.
Halston Body getting physical with Nico Marquez again. Here comes Heather. Oh, he just ate one of those shots with the tape fist. Down goes Nico.
And all hell broke loose.
Call the police department to get this to stop. This is wild. Look at him slither away. So we'll be back next week if anything's left. Call the cops.
All that and so much more on the fastest hour in pro wrestling. Watch episode 78 in full on our official YouTube channel at CW30 Wrestling.
The Championship Wrestling Lookout is brought to you by BFree CBD.
First things first, I want to send a big thank you to each and every person who came out to Dave and Buster's last night. We had a great time watching Clash of Champions, and I'm looking forward to our next watch party in November for All Elite Wrestling. But this Saturday, October 3rd, Commerce Street Market's turning 5 years old, and you are invited. It's a full day of free family fun in Hernando, Mississippi. Check this out.
It's a special eat and greet event celebrating Commerce Street Market's 5th birthday. Join us for a full day of free family fun on Saturday, October 3rd, with amazing carnival jugglers, fire breathers, along with an exotic petting zoo. Plus, Anna, Elsa, and Olaf will be on hand with their friend the Easter Bunny. Chris Gales will be performing live while you enjoy delicious food. That's Commerce Street Market, Mississippi's favorite one-stop shop.
And then next Monday, October 5th, Championship Wrestling Trivia takes place at Sidecar Cafe in Memphis, and it's absolutely free. Now, we've already had some teams register, and they've saved their spots. We have a couple of spots left. So go ahead and pre-register at championshipwrestlingmemphis.com, and you'll get a free appetizer. Here's a little bit more detail for you. Does your team have what it takes to win Championship Wrestling Trivia? Well, prove it.
You'll have your chance on Monday, October 5th at Sidecar Cafe. Register your team of 4 or less at championshipwrestlingmemphis.com and get a free appetizer.
I'll host trivia while we watch Monday Night Raw and Monday Night Football. And best of all, it's absolutely free to play.
It all goes down at Sidecar Cafe Monday, October 5th, 7 p.m. bell time.
Just bring it. That's going to be a ton of fun. Go ahead and get your team registered. We have limited space for obvious reasons, but can't wait to see you guys out there for that. Also, we have a major announcement coming up on Saturday regarding our next live event right here in Memphis, Tennessee. You heard me talk about it a little bit earlier. The announcement will come on Saturday's Championship Wrestling presented by Pro Shingle. But you can get it early by subscribing to our weekly email list. Head over to championshipwrestlingmemphis.com, scroll down to the bottom, and hit subscribe. All we need is your email address. You'll get one email each week from us with special offers and events and everything you need to stay up to date and informed with Championship Wrestling. And we'll let you know about that live event before it hits the airwaves on Saturday. And as always, Thursdays at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, you can catch me on Sports 56 Mornings talking professional wrestling. You can listen live or on podcast anywhere in the world at sports56whbq.com. And then on Thursday at noon, it's an all-new Grind City Wrestling. You can listen to 101 full episodes with wrestling's biggest stars. Just a couple of weeks ago, we had AEW World Tag Team Champions FTR on the podcast. Check it out. Every Thursday, grindcitymedia.com/podcast. And then Saturday at noon, we're back with the fastest hour in professional wrestling. Here's what to expect. Will All Day, excuse me, the main event, Will All Damn Day is back in action. You can check him out on Saturday. Also, the Golden Era continues. Jordan Clearwater will be in action. And it's Hugs and Butterflies. The Friendship Farm are back in action this Saturday at high noon on CW30 Memphis and on YouTube Premiere. And our guest from today, Danny Limelight, him and his new tag team partner, Papo Esco, they're in tag team action. Check this out. They're going to be up against the United Television champion, Dan Joseph, and former three-time Arizona State champion, EJ Sparks. What a team that's going to be. But the real story here is, and not to bury the lead or to disrespect any of those matches, but the real story is what the heck is going on with Nico Marquez in the women's division. What's going to happen next after a riot that he started last week? And we hear there's some major backlash from what transpired at the end of Saturday's program.
Saturday at noon, it's a brand new Championship Wrestling presented by Pro Shingle.
After last week's wild ending, will Nico Marquez cancel the women's division?
We hope not. Tune in Saturday at noon on CW30 Memphis.
Thanks for listening to the Championship Wrestling Podcast presented by BFreeCBD.com.
BFree CBD, pain on, pain gone. BFree CBD.
Thanks for joining me again this week on the Championship Wrestling Podcast presented by BFree CBD. Big shout out to our guest, Danny Limelight Rivera. New attitude and all. Almost hung up on me. I'm glad he didn't. You guys might not have liked that very much. But remember, BFree CBD is open in Collierville, Tennessee. That's 777 West Poplar Avenue in Memphis. Stop by and say hello. If you already take CBD or if you've been thinking about trying it, then certainly try BFree CBD. Swing by the Wellness Center. Tell them Dustin sent you. Tell them, oh yeah! And be sure to check out our new Superstar playlist on our official YouTube channel at CW30 Wrestling. One of the latest Superstar playlists is Danny Limelight Rivera, so you can catch him in action in his brand new playlist, along with Watts, Gentleman Jervis, Heather Monroe, and so much more. Can't wait to see you guys on Saturday. Another action-packed episode of Championship Wrestling presented by Pro Shingle. And until then, I am Dustin Starr, saying so long, everybody.